Hey everyone out there. Welcome to another edition of Mark Rogers TV Live. In a little bit different of a setting, a little bit of key atmosphere here, as I'm staying with family and friends over the last several days. The internet has not been very cooperative, but I've been in contact with AT&T and the Apple Store, and hopefully that will help out today's effort. And I'm trying to juggle phones and computers and laptops and magazines, so I'm going to try to check out the live chat as we go. And I will be back up and running full throttle by next Tuesday. So hope you guys are doing well. And I picked up a Lindy's. It's been forever since I remember picking up a Lindy's. They had an Athlon, say the Lindy. For whatever reason, I compared them and ended up picking up the Lindy's. I think it was $1 cheaper, and they were almost exactly the same magazine in regards to information. Obviously, all the information's on the internet, so don't really need to get a magazine anymore, but it's just kind of nice to have it in your hand. So this is a Big Ten edition that was at the newsstand, and I was running through the top 25. And this is kind of a semi-complaint, just kind of the way it is right now with college football, and at least the forecasting for 2018. It's all cut and dry. Pick up about 5 or 6 NFL preview magazines, and you're probably going to come up with 5 or 6 different Super Bowl predictions. But in college football, I don't know that I've seen anyone in the national championship, and the playoff seems to be Iowa State, Georgia, by everybody. I have maybe seen an Oklahoma or Washington slip into the playoff, and so we'll start to strike up the chat to see what you guys have here. This may not be the most scintillating live stream, but I wanted to make contact with you guys and maybe run through the top 25 according to Lindy's and see what you guys think about that. So I'm going to the live chat here. Of course, if you're finding me for the first time here, this is not typically the setup here. You can catch me and see that we, as anyone, usually more, much more, and it's with the best bloggers, broadcasters, and writers in the industry, and with analysis from myself, and we're coming up on college football. So I counted 8 weeks to the opener. We are 8 weeks to the opener, and we got Country Boy on the line, Navy Thomas 8. Yes, Navy Thomas 8. That's exactly where they've been a pain for the last several days. Donovan, didn't know you knew how to relax. You look chillin'. We're trying. Had a nice little time with some buddies last night. Yeah. So, and expect to do the same today. So you can see that the content's been light for the last several days. I think I did a live stream with Miami on Tuesday night and have kicked back since then. I don't know if you guys are getting me very clear. The audio is not going to be great, but I'm just hanging out. So as long as you guys want to hang with me here. William says it's not really working. I got Panther Pro 22 on the line. So if the internet sucks, tell me. Just let me know right in here that it's, you can't hear me, you can't really see me, whatever the issue is. Country Boy saying the internet's not good. Got Moneybag D on the line as well. Moneybag D, I've not seen you on here. Welcome to Mark Rogers TV. Sounds like I need a little water. But I don't know that I've got any real options left here. So hopefully, can your phone do mobile hotspot? That's my fallback. So that's what I've done here. Navy Thomas 8. Yeah, we've been with AT&T, and I took it to the mall, to the Apple store, because the guy at AT&T knocked out my Wi-Fi setting that connected to my hotspot. I'm on the phone with these people 45 or 50 minutes, and they did nothing but send me in the wrong direction. So I'm actually, country boy, I'm about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 miles away from Infocision Stadium. So there's some trivia for you. Whoever can guess or look it up as quickly as possible, what team plays at Infocision Stadium? I ended up going to Verizon, got tired of fighting all the rest. Yeah. So, yeah, I used to be a Verizon guy. Now it's AT&T. So, yeah, Infocision Stadium. So whoever gets the first guess on that, I don't know, doesn't get a prize this time, but we'll work on that. We'll have to up the prizes. Speaking of which, of course, you guys know that we've got a prize that's still on the line up until July 15th. Whoever brings the most subs to Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, Mark Rogers TV, gets some swag from Alonzo1219. I don't really have anything scheduled for the next week outside of Uncle Lou coming on next Friday at noon Eastern Time. Uncle Lou, Friday at noon Eastern Time, and a few people on the line possibly for Wednesday night. Other than that, you're going to hear from me a whole bunch. So, Jinker GM, you are on the money. The University of Akron. The University of Akron. Maybe I'll do my preview from Infocision Stadium, and then you won't hear another word out of me about Akron football for the rest of the year. All right, so, and then also Kent State's close. So I know that you guys have been clamoring for Akron and Kent State previews. Have been just clogging up the comments section about Akron and Kent, the Golden Flashes and the Zips, two of the great nicknames in all of college football, of course, out of Maction. Jinker GM, my great-grandmother lives there. Yes, so my mom lives here, and my sister as well. So no beach this time around. Country boy, I'm hoping to get to one maybe later next month, maybe sometime during July or August. Maybe a few more days away, but more of a beach setting. Yes. And what I would go with there would be making sure that the Wi-Fi is going to be secure, and be able to hit you guys up from the beach. So that's hopefully in the offering for the next week or so. Navy Thomas 8, I finally heard from a sportscaster that Troy is the danger on Nebraska's schedule. Well, all Scott Frost needs to do is call Coach O and find out that Troy is a danger on the schedule, even at home. So the Lindy's top 25 has Clemson winning the national championship. They basically said that despite the matchup last year between Alabama and Clemson, and large portions of both teams coming back, that defensive front for Clemson was just enough for them to think, okay, all these guys are coming back. Number 2, State 3, Georgia 4, Wisconsin 5. Basically telling us that Ohio State's going to beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. No big surprises there. Oklahoma 6. So I'm starting to rethink my possible pick of Texas in the Big 12. I'm weighing Texas and Oklahoma, but thought I would be a little bit different and go with see if I can get my live chat back. So anyway, Texas has been my thought all off season in the Big 12. But that Oklahoma personnel coming back, offensive line, playmakers, Oklahoma offense, Texas defense, but Texas has lost so much on defense. They've recruited so well, but are those guys going to be ready? The bulk of the Texas elite talent has come in here in the last recruiting class. Clemson's the third best team. Country Boys saying something about Ohio State that conceivable, can't be read. Saban going to get his revenge on Ohio State. Sure could happen. Miami at 7. Obviously, that's lose to Auburn, and then probably lose a Pac-12 game, not get to the playoffs, still win the world championship. Although we have Auburn at 9, Michigan State at 10. I just happen to think that Michigan State is going to have a bit rougher of a go than a lot of people project. People look at those returning starters, but those returning starters were really good solid team, really good top 10 to 15 team. But those same returning starters lost to Ohio State 48-3. They lost to Northwestern. They lost to Notre Dame by 3 scores. They had a really good effort at home against Penn State in the slop. They, of course, beat Michigan in a really close game. Those were the 2 big wins, Penn State and Michigan for Michigan State. And then, of course, Washington State. They made them look silly, and I don't think the Cougars were that good last year. Jinker GMC needs to see how Haskins will do. Maybe kill the video might help the audio come through. So you guys are obviously having some issues with this, and it's probably as soon as I went to the chat, this thing's going. So unfortunately, I can't tell what you guys are seeing. It looks perfectly fine to me, of course. So I'm just going to stay on here, and I guess you guys will tell me by leaving the chat that it sucks. ESPN keeps talking about Clemson defensive line bias. Fabian Daniel, welcome to Mark Rogers TV. I want to know between Fabian Daniel, how long you've been watching me, and also there was another name in here that I've never seen. I'm just curious how long you've been watching and what you want to hear about. There was somebody else on here, Moneybag D. I'd like to hear from you and how long you've been watching Mark Rogers TV. And again, Fabian Daniel talking about ESPN, talking up the Clemson D line. Penn State at 11. They lose a lot of defense. They get Ohio State at home. Notre Dame at 12. And, of course, Penn State loses Saquon Barkley and Deshaun Hamilton and Mike Gesicki. Donovan certainly not worried about Miami in a week 1. Donovan, you have to be worried about that first game, or you come on, you're a little bit worried. You're concerned. You know that it could be a loss. You know that it's generally a 50-50 game, a 55-45 game, either side. I would right now predict Miami to beat LSU. Not by much. And if I'm losing it on here, yeah, I must be breaking up. I'm going to shut down the chat just for a minute and run through the top 25, see if that clears things up. So I've shut down YouTube on my phone to see if this helps. So Penn State, yeah, again, they have the 2 big games against Ohio State and Michigan State at home, but that concerns me. Notre Dame at 12, the difficult schedule, Stanford at 13, Boise State at 14 with a huge game against Oklahoma State, my under-the-radar game for week 2 or 3 against Oklahoma State in Stillwater. I think that's going to be a Boise State win the way I look at it right now. I think Oklahoma State's going to take a step back to about 8-4. West Virginia at 15. People love West Virginia. People love West Virginia. The chic pick to win the Big 12. Kind of Texas as well. I really don't want to pick chalk. Chalk I would consider to be Washington, USC in the Pac-12, Oklahoma in the Big 12, Ohio State, Wisconsin in the Big 10, Georgia, Alabama, of course, in the SEC, and Miami, Clemson, of course, in the ACC would be chalk to me. And like we talked about all summer, the teams that could break through would be a Stanford or Oregon out of the Pac-12 North, maybe a Utah out of the Pac-12 South. Some people like Arizona. I don't think they're defensively equipped to do it, although Arizona plays the weakest schedule out of the Pac-12 North Division. They're 12-24 last year. The Chic picks are West Virginia and Texas as dark horses in the Big 12. I guess Michigan State would be the Chic Big 10 pick. I wouldn't really consider Penn State to be an under the radar, and Michigan State probably not even to this extent. In the ACC, who in the world's going to come out of there that's not Clemson or Miami? I guess it would be Virginia Tech or Florida State. And that's exactly who Lindy's has at number 16 and 17. They've got the Noles at 16, the Hokies at 17, Michigan 18, USC 19. Like we talked about, USC could have a rough start and they could rally down and still get to the Pac-12 championship game at 8-4. Mississippi State at 20. I just read an article the other day that was talking about how Penn State players are telling basically the Mississippi State fan base, you have a great coach in Joe Moorhead. He is phenomenal. He knows how to call plays. He knows how to match up a defense. He knows how to get his playmakers in space in the right matchups. He is a genius on the offensive side of the ball, and that Mississippi State is going to take off. And we know that even against an SEC Western Division schedule that also included Georgia, that Mississippi State finished in the top 10 in the nation in defense. They have their two leading tacklers, both at the safety position, McLaurin and I can't think of the other kid's name, at safety. Montez Sweat, Jeffrey Simmons back at DN. So Mississippi State, a lot of people love Mississippi State. They do have to travel to Alabama. They do have to go to Death Valley. TCU at 21, of course, with the Ohio State game in week 3 and the Big 12 schedule after that. New quarterback with Sean Robinson taking over. Oregon at 22. We've talked about them recently. Just cut a video with Sports Chat 503. Sports Chat 503 talking Oregon football. Check that out. Central Florida at 23. South Carolina at 24. Georgia Tech at 25. I'll be interested to see who the second best team in the SEC Eastern Division is this year. Was it still South Carolina, or is Dan Mullen going to take a jump for the Gators from 4 to 8 or 9 wins? And Florida does not have a difficult non-conference game in September. Of course, they've got Florida State later. Let's check out the chat and hope that it doesn't interfere with the live feed. All right, so with the latest, guys, I will be doing a live stream coming up on Tuesday night at the latest. Tuesday night at the latest. I'll possibly do one on Monday. And as I've mentioned to you guys in recent days, mark this down, starting next week, meaning in about 10 days, so July 15th, that's Sunday, we're going to go to a schedule of Sunday at 4 Eastern, Monday at 6 Eastern, Wednesday and Thursday night at 7 Eastern, and then the weekends will be a wild card. Baby and Daniel, been listening since February. Appreciate your time and effort. Appreciate you, Fabian. Thanks for jumping on. Like to see the comments. You think Lane Kiffin will be LSU's new coach? Richard, haven't seen your name either. That might be a nice little hire for LSU, huh? You talk about a guy that could fix the offense. That might be the guy to fix the offense, would be Lane Kiffin. So if LSU turns in what could be a 6-6 or 7-5 year, and Donovan, I know you don't want to hear it, 6-6 or 7-5 season at LSU, they say, Coach O, Thanks for playing. We love the effort. We'll miss the stories at the podium and after the games each week, but we need somebody who can run the offense. We know that the defense, basically, we can pull together with Dave Aranda still there, correct, at LSU. So that's an interesting pick with Lane Kiffin. I would certainly consider it. I'm not a big Lane Kiffin fan, but he seems to be maturing. And maybe if he can keep himself out of a bad light for another football season, that'll show that maybe he has separated himself from all that crap that he would typically spew out from time to time or get himself into that didn't really show himself to be a mature human being that can lead and guide 18 to 22-year-olds. But maybe Lane Kiffin is finally at a place where he can combine the football knowledge and acumen with some life skills. That's an interesting call. So another clean season from Lane Kiffin, a bad season from Coach O, meaning 7-5 or worse, and that may mean Lane Kiffin to LSU. But of course, we don't know who else is going to get fired in the meantime. We also got to consider that with that schedule, considering a first-year quarterback, considering replacing your best running back and wide receiver, your most talented defensive player at LSU, not the best or the most productive, but Art and Key was the best, most talented defensive player when he was on the field, that 8-4, if LSU goes 8-4 against that schedule, is pretty darn good. Carlos, great job, Mark. I love all the Miami coverage. You and a lot of other people, so I appreciate you chiming in. I think Florida turns around. The East turns back into a Georgia-Florida top-heavy division from Clemson alum 98. Darnell, go Canes. Fabian, not bad for an Ohio State fan. I heard somebody else online mention the other day when they were being asked, I won't reveal who this person is, but somebody we all know and love. Yes, I'm on vacation, taking a little time off, NCIS Fanatic 21. So somebody, a lot of you know, made the comment the other day when a lot of people were writing in asking who his favorite team is, and he declined. It didn't want to reveal that, and I used to do that as well. And I still don't want to put emphasis on who I root for because I want to be taken seriously as analyzing college football straight on, unbiased, unchallenged. And I have proven that in the past that that's my approach. That's what I do, is take on college football in an unbiased way. And to some of your new viewers, some of the new viewers out there, I will let you know that in 2016, I adamantly stated, and you can look up the videos from December of 2016 that revolve around Penn State, Ohio State, and the College Football Playoff Committee. I adamantly argued that Penn State should have been chosen as the Big Ten champion and the winner of the head-to-head against Ohio State over the Buckeyes. So this is one indication of many how I try to keep it as unbiased as I possibly can. We got Dustin on the line. Haven't seen that name. Dustin, welcome to Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Do I admit to being a Big Ten fan? I do admit to being a Big Ten fan. Again, I will tell you when the Big Ten's awful, and I will hopefully fairly rate these teams and rank these teams. Especially, you guys can call me on the carpet. You guys can hold me accountable if you believe that I'm unfair or unfairly leaning towards the Big Ten or Ohio State. Call me out. Let me know how you feel about Kansas football going undefeated. Abdullah He, I would think that's probably they have the best shot of anybody in the country. I was considering Alabama to finish with a 12-0 record, but the Kansas prediction is a solid one. Shinkerchian, best conference in the country. You got a Pac-12 fan in Richard. I haven't seen that name before. Pac-12 or SEC. I guess you like them both. It's kind of an odd combination. So let's also consider that I will have some predictions. We have a rating of all 130 teams here. This is something I attempt to do. Clemson alum 98, yes. I would say all things being equal, I probably throughout the course of the season watch more SEC and Big Ten than anything. And out of the Power Five, probably watch the Big 12 the least, only because the games typically compete against the SEC and the Big Ten. Whereas the Pac-12 games, you'll get those two late-night games on a Saturday at 10:30 Eastern, so I can focus on the Pac-12. And then they'll usually play that Thursday or Friday game, so I can focus on another Pac-12 game. So I usually get in about 3 Pac-12 games every weekend, even if they do have some competition against the Big Ten and the SEC. But yeah, I would have to say that I watch. It'd be interesting for me to go through the schedule. Maybe I'll track that this year, and I'll be very open and honest as to what teams and what games I'm watching. But I typically look at the noon schedule. I pick out the best game, and then I set out some other monitors, some other laptops, so I can keep track of 2 or 3 games, maybe 4 games at the same time, and I go from there. And if the game that I thought was going to be the best game turns out to be a dog, it's 28-0 at half, then I focus my attention elsewhere. And for those of you who have seen me on a college football Saturday, you see that once the noon games are over, I'll jump online, give instant analysis of those games, at least one game, if it was a really good game and I had to focus on that one, or multiple games. Then I'll do the same thing for the 3:30 games. I'll be on there at like 7:15 posting instant analysis, and it'll be fun this year because I just won't cut a video like I have in the past. I'll do the live stream after the noon time slot, the 3:30 time slot, the prime time slot, and then the late night Pac-12 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time games, and we'll just go nuts on that. Watch ACC every now and then, depends on who's playing. Cashboy D. So take Clemson, for example. Let's go to Clemson. Oh, you know what? I don't think this magazine has the schedule, but I'll just go through my head. So if you guys want an example of what kind of football I'm watching, take Clemson, for example. So during the regular season, I saw the Virginia Tech game last year. I remember the second half of the Florida State game. I watched the fourth quarter of the NC State game. I saw the Syracuse game, of course, the big upset on the Friday night. I saw Clemson play. That was probably it in the ACC. The Virginia Tech game, some of the Florida State game, the NC State game, and the Syracuse game. Actually, looking back to last season, just to give you guys an idea of how much football I'm watching. Yeah, country boy. Okay, you guys have kind of lost me here, unfortunately. Let me shut this down again. See if that helps. So hopefully you guys are still on the line with me. I've shut down the live chat again for just a few minutes to try to reestablish the connection here. Let's see. You guys have any opinion on the All-America teams? The offensive first team, Will Greer at quarterback, Bryce Love, Jonathan Taylor, the typical candidates at running back, N'Keal Harry and David Sills the fifth at wide receiver, Noah Fant tight end. So they agree with me because I mentioned Noah Fant a few weeks ago as the best tight end in the country. Offensive line, you've got Sam Mustipher, Dalton Risner, Mitch Hyatt, Jonah Williams, Bo Bezenschwau. Matt Gay is the kicker out of Utah. Maybe another reason to consider Utah for the Pac-12 South Division. They have one of the best kickers in the country, Matt Gay. Second team kicker is Daniel LaCamera. Don't really remember him. Second team offense, Khalil Tate at quarterback. Your running backs are J.K. Dobbins and A.J. Dillon. Your wide receivers, A.J. Brown and Stanley Morgan. You got the tight end out of Missouri. And I had to admit, when we talked and listed our 5 best tight ends and wide receivers in the SEC a few weeks ago with Mike LaValle and Kevin McGuffey from Last Word on College Football, I was not familiar with Albert Okwuegbunam, is I guess how you pronounce his name. Okwuegbunam. And admitted, when we talked about what teams do I watch, did I watch Missouri play football last year? Nope. When was I going to watch Missouri play football last year against all the other teams that they were competing against on the TV schedule? So I didn't see Missouri play last year until the bowl game. So I was not familiar with the Missouri tight end. Your offensive lineman on the second team, according to Lindy's, you got Toa Lobodon, David Edwards, Trey Adams, Greg Little, Nate Herbig. All right, I'm going to strike up the live chat again. Hopefully you guys are still on the line. And hopefully I'm still on the line, because it's been a bit rough here, so I apologize. But back at it, full throttle, Tuesday night. And even if I don't have a lot of guests on next week, which I only have one scheduled, that's Uncle Lou next Friday. That would be a week from yesterday, next Friday at noon Eastern. Besides that, I don't have a lot of people scheduled because I'm going to focus on my own analysis and getting you guys all those lists and prediction you guys have asked for. All right. Why are you hating on Miami? So the typical Miami talk. Mark, I saw a list of what someone considers the best offenses in the country. Yeah, I did respond to you on Twitter. I thought that they were pretty much on the mark, except for they considered Stanford to have the best Pac-12 offense, and Washington does. They also considered Wisconsin in the Big Ten. I was okay with that, although I think Ohio State may. And one of their other picks was the best offense in the ACC they had is Florida State, which is possible. I still think with the 2 running backs and with the offensive line, including a first-team All-America in Mitch Hyatt and the great wide receivers at Clemson, one of the best wide receiver corps in the nation, I'm going Clemson as the best offense in the ACC. Panther Pro 22, Bama, and Ohio State, yeah. Stickman 83, hopefully I got that in. It's not Stikeman. It's got to be Stickman, right? 83. Good to hear from you. Uncle Lou will be fun. Come on. I think he's got some good things to say. Yeah, but we definitely have different styles. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it good. Different people have different styles. Okay. What else do we have on a smaller conference level? FIU picked up a couple of nice 4-star junior college players. Yes, they did. It's that immediate impact on game versus day non-5 bowl slot. I don't know what that means, but yeah, FIU, of course, has Devin Singletary, who ran for 1,800 yards and 32 touchdowns last year. Jeff Driscoll back at quarterback, and they have recruited extremely well. And it looks like I'm breaking up again as I can see my return on the phone now. And we've got about 22 people on the line, so I'd like to hang on with you guys here to carve through some of this stuff. So we've got the top 5 SEC quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends have completed those videos. You can see those. We've got the top 5 ACC quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Got those for you there. I'm going to take a break from those lists and may not be able to get back to the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Pac-12 and finish out the other conferences at the other positions. I don't want to just ignore offensive and defensive lines, even though most people want to see quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. That's the intent, was to do all my predictions. So and actually through SEC Big Ten coach rankings that always stirs up some debate as well. I'll go back to the chat. So look out for that. Power 5 coaches rankings. I'm done with the SEC. I'm almost done with the Big Ten, and I will deliver those next several days in the next week. And then, yeah, if you guys want to see predictions, I will give you my predictions and preview all the Power 5 teams, certainly. I would like to do 130 all the way up to number 1 is the goal, but time's running out on me, and SEC Media Days are a week from Monday. All right. We got George, but they're not going to pull the top players. Those guys are going to schools. UF has one top players in Florida. Yep. The luck. All right. Guys, I don't see a whole lot in the chat here to respond to. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm still here, still breathing, still doing my thing. And I know for a lot of YouTubers did not post content from Tuesday night to Friday or Saturday. It's not a big deal, but for me, you guys know that I'm cranking it out every day. So I just thought I'd let you know that I'm here and see some content out of me soon. If I take another vacation, I will be calling the condo or the townhouse or the beach house, and we're trying the Wi-Fi capabilities because I'm going to relax. So videos, using live streams for my next vacation for this. Always love comments, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. You guys do a great job. Keep it going. Love the content. Love the comments and suggestions. Always the suggestions. But I think I'm pretty aligned for the summer with rankings and ratings of coaches, teams, and players, and so I think I'm pretty well lined up. Tell your friends me Maybe I'll try to continue. Having a donut. Hang on. I'll get away from my mom's musical selections. We had a few people just stick on the line here. I thought the whole thing had shut down, so I couldn't get it to show me anything. No, this is a mess. You know what? I think we will have to shut down. All right, so you guys are great for staying on the line. The thing said that I was having issues and the connection was lost and all that kind of talk. So I assumed that it was shut down. I went to go check the video that I thought I had shut down and started to post. Saw that the live stream was still up and running. So so I checked it out, and we're still up and running with about 5 people on. So I appreciate you guys jumping online or staying online. And I love Krispy Kreme donuts, and I never get them. So my sister had brought some over today. Brought over some Krispy Kreme donuts, especially for me. And so that's what I had in my hand while I was hoping to post a video that I thought was over. The live stream was over. You probably can hear my mom's musical selections. Let's be kind. Let's be kind to Mark Rogers TV's mom. She's 88 years old. So her music selections may not necessarily be in either one of our wheelhouses, but so she's downstairs listening to that. So appreciate you guys hanging on the line. And again, we're going to be full throttle back on Tuesday, bringing you college football content as we knock everything out. So I got a baseball game at Cleveland Stadium at Progressive Field tomorrow, hanging out with buddies today. Got dinner with the family tonight. It's been a really nice time. And again, I'm going to let you guys know that if I go on vacation again, which I may do here in the next month, I'm going to make sure that I have a really stable internet connection for you. So I'll be working from vacation, taking a few hours a day to address the college football scene, and we'll hopefully be getting some news out of August camp at that point. But I'll be online with you guys all the time. So appreciate you guys hanging on the line. Don't know what's on the live chat. Maybe I'll check it, because I'm sure you guys have jumped on with some funny comments. I'm guessing you guys have thrown out some gems while all this mess has been. This will be a video for the ages right here. You got the breakup video, the video breakup. It wouldn't be a breakup video. It'd be the video breakup constantly, and then it almost shutting down. My internet was lost. It obviously kept going, the stream, and then me walking through the house with my donut in my hand, and then coming up here, and you got to hear some gospel orchestra, some type of I don't even know how to describe what music we had in the background there. So some good stuff there. Who doesn't love Krispy Kreme donuts? So yeah, Savage Dogs chiming in, big Georgia fan. Yeah, so in Connecticut, Krispy Kreme cannot be found. There is one Krispy Kreme. It is in it's at the casinos on the coast at Mohegan Sun. That's the only Krispy Kreme in Connecticut. And I guess even in Ohio here, Krispy Kreme has pretty much shut down all of its outlets, but they do make the Krispy Kreme donuts that they send out to the stores. So my sister went out this morning and she was able to grab some Krispy Kreme right from the plant where they still make them and sell them right there at the bakery, and grab the Krispy Kreme, especially for me because she knows that I was a bit homesick for some Krispy Kreme. Okay, audio breaking up. Oh well, it was great to still great to see you, Bull Gator, jumping on. Of course, Mr. George there. All right, country boy, all these clowns here waiting. Yeah, maybe Thomas 8. I appreciate it. You guys have better things to do than see audio breakup, video breakup, and not get anything back. So I appreciate it, you guys. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. The weather here is phenomenal. It was like 95% humidity for a few days, which I don't totally mind. I probably belong in Florida. The humidity is a bit much. I like the hot temperature, so I belong probably more or less maybe in Pac-12 country there at USC, UCLA. I've often thought of that. That's going to be my retirement. I'm going to be in Southern California, and I'm going to be covering all of college football. I'll be Mark Rogers TV with the gray beard, and I will be at USC and UCLA practices. I'll be heading out there to cover them firsthand, but I'll be covering all of college football. That might be the retirement gig for Mark Rogers TV. So we will see you guys soon. Appreciate you staying on the line amidst all the mess, and we will be back at it. And I've got some great announcements for you guys. Have some personnel coming on board. We introduced Alex Galbraith, the gridiron expert, who's going to be joining me on a regular basis, not just to create content and not just to have him on for his analysis, but also Alex has been kind enough to accept my internship offer that I threw out on social media a few weeks ago. So he accepted, and he's doing some social media and some affiliate marketing, digging into that. We have a lot to go, a long ways to go to get anywhere there, but also another intern has accepted, and she's going to be starting here very soon as well, right here at Mark Rogers TV. So we will see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your weekend.